I lost a bunch of weight in my lifetime, about 200 pounds at my peak. I got up to 350 pounds. I got down to 150. And I've since leveled off, probably around 225 or so. But what I've learned in changing, whether it was with weight loss, whether it was with friends, getting out of toxic relationships, or whether it was downsizing and living in my car, which we'll get to that. But any type of serious change, any type of sustainable, good to see you, Mark. Any type of change that you want to make in your life, moving from New Jersey to Florida, the only thing that's really going to make it worth it, and the only thing that's going to make it realistic and have the proper goals and the proper mindset is if you embrace the entire lifestyle change. Good to see you, Journey Chosen. A lifestyle change is a comprehensive way you look and you live life. Snow Panther, good to see you. So a Jeep Renegade today? Yeah, they're a lot smaller than you thought. It's true. A very small vehicle. I have my Jeep Renegade for 4 years. I have approximately 140,000 miles on my Jeep Renegade. I've driven up and down the East Coast, all the way from Upper Vermont down to Miami Beach, back and forth several times. And as you travel in different states, and as you live out of your car, what you see is a lot of people live life different ways, different lifestyles. Sometimes the narrow-minded person has only stayed in their same town or their same city, sometimes even within the same few blocks. And so the only lifestyle they know is that which they grew up with. Expanding the mind is key. I got my car new. I bought my car new. On average, I do recommend buying a car new if you have the financial means, if you have a steady job. I understand it's a depreciating asset, and I understand the mindset of I want to buy used because it already depreciated it. But when you buy used, it's worth market value. So there's a reason it's cheaper, because it's worth less, it's older, it's going to be a higher cost of maintenance. But again, a lifestyle is about looking at things through a holistic perspective. So when you buy a car, this is how I look at it now, okay? So I didn't always make the right decisions in life, and I'm still not perfect. But when you buy a car, you can't look at it as, do I want to buy new or old? You have to look at it as, what's my financial situation? When I bought fancy cars, I was trying to, live a lifestyle of luxury, okay? Leasing them, okay? And even if you'd buy one, it's a lifestyle, okay? There was like a thing, you're not going to have a fancy car in a shitty house. If you are, you're not really living a luxury lifestyle. So a whole lifestyle sets off a series of chain reactions. So when you buy a fancy car, you can't just go to Lube Express and get the oil changed. If you buy a nice outfit, you can't jump out of a hoopty. Now you can, but the whole thing is it's a lifestyle. So what I learned living full-time in my car is that many people living this lifestyle are legit homeless, or they have mental problems, drug addiction problems. There's a few adventure seekers. Living full-time on the road, whether a car, van, or RV, and I want to talk more about car or van, because that's more, the situation that I'm in. And an RV could be different, because you could spend up to $100,000 on an RV. And an RV, which stands for recreational vehicle, has all the amenities of a home, just smaller and on wheels, and it's a depreciating asset, not an appreciating asset. The difference between living in a car and a house is a house over time, if you own the land, will appreciate in value. A car, van, or RV over time, it's going to depreciate in value. That's why used cars are cheaper, because they go down in value. Used houses aren't necessarily cheaper, right? Because houses, so that's kind of like the first thing you have to evaluate when you're looking at life, right? It's like, you want to live in a car, you want to live on a road. That's fine. Don't overinvest. Don't go buy a big RV. Don't go buy a vid van if it's above your means. But even if it's below your means, you have to really look at that. Because I think when we talk about a lifestyle, again, a lifestyle is about sustainability. The keto diet is about you're going to eat a bunch of fat, but, food is only one part of health. Okay. I've often shared, look, I lost 200 pounds, changed my lifestyle, used to eat fast food every day, but food is only one part of health. The other part is physical activity. The other part is relationships. Why relationships? Because relationships produce either stress or joy. So when you look at your health, you can't just look at weight. There's plenty of skinny people that have high cholesterol, that have high stress levels, high blood pressure. Okay. It's, when you get your health together, you have to look at a comprehensive way. Food is the main ingredient of it, but there's several other factors. When you look at living in a car, living in a house, you have to understand to sustain it, it's not just about living cheap. And that's why I do push back on some channels who capitalize, and look, we're all here to make money, so I don't want to try to act like Mother Teresa, but they're capitalizing off the fact that, anyone can live this lifestyle. But what I found is that's not true. Look, anyone can do a lot of things, but most people will not sustain the car living or nomadic lifestyle because it's not sustainable for the average person. Why? Because car living versus house living is very much not a routine driven daily life, meaning that you have a lot of variables when you live in your car, a lot of movement. And why does that make it not sustainable? Because humans are creatures of habit. And that's not a bad thing. And so you have to understand human nature, psychology. Okay. A lot of people play like they're a therapist, like they're a psychologist, and they're told nut job. They like to just mind fuck life. Psychology and the human nature instinct is, again, for us to kind of be in a well place, some more than others, everyone's different. You need a level of stability and a level of predictable routines. Okay. And so a lot of people like the idea of an adventure. Just like me, I got burnt out on seeing the same stores, the same scenario all the time. And I got burnt out on that. However, I did that for 15 years. And then gradually over time, I evolved into car living. And I did car living simply because I knew I had an easy exit strategy. Why? Because after looking at an RV, I saw what a money trap they are for most people. Unless you're retired and you have a sustainable income, for most people, it's just a big money trap. Because now you almost have to go to an RV park every day. Now you're going to spend a lot of money in gas, a lot of money in maintenance, and you got a lot tied into it. And I did many videos about that. One of my first videos that kind of went big is RV lifestyle. It's not so cheap. It's not so easy. You can say, oh, travel trailers are cheap. Do you have a tow vehicle? Do you want to tow? Do you want to be a truck driver? When you tow a vehicle, you are now a truck driver, basically. Not a bad thing, but this is what you have to think about when you think about the lifestyle of living on the road versus living in a house. And some people who are very unstable mentally or physically or emotionally, they really like the idea of not paying rent because maybe they're so unstable they can't hold a job. But then the reality is they don't understand that you have to have a level of discipline and structure if you're going to thrive living in your car van, because you almost have to create your own routine. And some people have messaged me that they tried living in their car and they almost got mad at me, but they couldn't hang or it was too bad and they blamed me. I said, well, and then I knew right away they're unstable mentally because they didn't obviously look at the context of my videos. They just heard what they wanted to hear. People hear what they want to hear. People listen to an hour video I do and they take 1 minute out of it and they hear what they want and they go, I got it. And then they're off and running. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but then you got to own your decision. Accountability is a part of any good lifestyle. Accountability. You own it. A lifestyle is something embedded in your every decision every day. A house is a sanctuary. It's a stable place that has a lot of privacy. You pay a price for it. Whether you rent or you buy a house, the value of it is a sanctuary, a safe, stable place that's predictable. That's why housing will never go out of style. Okay, a lot of people, when this whole lifestyle first started like becoming commercialized again, because it was very vibrant in the hippie era, everything, nothing new under the sun. But recently, you know, when people, after the financial collapse, and like, which was almost over 15 years or so ago in America, many people started looking at cheaper ways to live, small, more downsized way, and I think that's wisdom. And like me, you know, you get caught up in the YouTube algorithm, you're researching downsizing, you see people living in their car, van, or RV, so I could do that. And it helped me. I did that. But I put a lot of time and thought into it. And that's why, again, what car should you start living out of? Whatever car you currently have. Because it's not going to work out for most people. If it doesn't work out and you didn't change your car and you didn't make a heavy financial commitment, then you can exit quickly. You get back into apartment or house or whatever. Now, obviously, if you're going to sell a house and hit the road full time, you have to kind of be committed in your mind to really give this lifestyle a good shot. Why? Because look, once you sell a house, to buy another house, to get back, selling and buying a house is a very expensive and entangled process. So, you know, you don't want to just go buying and selling a house before you, at least in your mind, there's no guarantee anything is going to work out. But you, at least in your mind, have to know, like, I'm committed to trying this. Yeah, you know, Chronic Blast says living in your car in tropical paradise. Well, I lived in my car for a year and a half in New Jersey in the winter. You look at some of my videos. So I did that because you have to live in your car responsibly. I had to maintain a job before I got a transfer to work remotely. And then last year when I lived in my car in Florida in the summer with no air conditioning, it was basically hell. I had cockroaches in here. It was nasty. So again, you have to understand there's the idea and then there's the reality. I remember dating a girl. She said, Sam, you like the idea of a relationship, but you don't like the reality. A lot of people like the idea that they could smoke weed, not have a job, and live in their car and not pay rent. But the reality is they have an unhealthy lifestyle currently, and the only thing living in their car is going to do is make them legit homeless with legit no income. And they're going to see when they're all night at a gas station and they're dealing with other people who are unstable, or they have to constantly move, or the cops harass them and they give an attitude to the cops, they're going to see they should have kept their unstable ass at home. Now, do I see unstable people living in their car van? Yeah, but I don't see it as like a great life. I see it as survival. There's two parts of, you know, life. It's like, are you surviving or are you thriving? And, you know, life could throw us a curveball at any time. We could survive. You know, look, you know, sometimes, you know, when you're totally messed up in life, just get through the day. But if you're planning something out, if you're giving thought to it and researching, you know, that's what it means to, like, you know, live your best life, is to give some thought to it. That's right, brother. There's pros and cons to everything. Well, I like it. As long as you got a plan, as long as you got a job, and as long as you have tried it. And you take accountability, whether it works out or not. I say, God bless. I want to see people do good. I want to give you guys the honest, the real deal. Thank you, Seth. And thank you, Chronic Blast. Thank you for everyone. So I just try to give you guys the honest. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of benefit to it if you're a certain individual. But understand, what type of individual are you going to be? You're going to be less than 1% of society. In America, less than 1% of the population are homeless. When you live out of your car or van, you are technically homeless. Now, less than a half a percent of that 1% live in their car or van. The other ones just go from homeless shelter to homeless, or they're just out in the street. So again, you know, you have your adventure seekers who are, and you'll see them, definitely you see them in Florida in the winter, but a lot of them are on like vacation. Okay. See, that's the other thing. There's a difference between being part-time and full-time as far as living in your car. You know, when you let your lease expire or you sell your house and you go full-time in your car, van, or RV, there's a different mindset and lifestyle that you're getting ready to embrace versus someone who's on a couple-week vacation, you know, etc. Yeah, I heard there was snow up north today. You know, I talked to a couple people in New Jersey and Boston. That's what they were saying. It was cold and snowy, and it's, you know, not even really officially winter yet. You know, the number one asset, here's the positive. The number one asset of living in your car is flexibility. So you can change locations very quickly with not a lot of hassle. However, again, it's all about sustaining an income. Why did I stay in New Jersey for a year and a half when I started living out of my car? Because I didn't have the option, unless I was going to quit my job, to just go traveling when the weather got cold. So, and I always tell you guys, DoorDash is a great option because it fits the nomadic lifestyle, but DoorDash is not a career. And if you bank on that solely, you're going to be living DoorDash paycheck to DoorDash paycheck, because it is what it is. It's a good side hustle. It's a side hustle. It's a $10, $15 an hour job. It's what it is. And you have to go after it. It doesn't just come to you. You have to work a little bit longer than you want. You know, you'd have some bad deliveries, some small ones. It's a job, guys. Everything in life is a level of work. Nothing's just, you know. Did I work off the bagel? You know, look, you can never outwork a bad diet. That's what I learned losing 200 pounds. I used to post that all the time. You know, so I didn't work it off. In my mind, I felt better after I did a workout. So you can never lose weight or be healthy if you don't change your food intake. That's how I hurt myself thinking I could do that. You know, however, at this point, like I say, I kind of balanced out. I got real thin, real skinny, and then kind of now like I'm in the middle. And I'm happy with my weight. I'll probably, you know, I probably tweak a couple things in my diet, shed about 10 pounds. I'm a little bit overweight right now. Some of it I turned to muscle, but still some of it I'm a little bloated. So, but you can't outwork a bagel, or, you know, it takes, like, if you go in the gym, you can convert some of the fat to muscle. But to walk or to burn off 500 calories, because after you have a bagel with cream cheese, like 500 calories. So to burn that off, I mean, you'd have to run like, you know, 10 miles. I'm not doing that anymore at this age. So your food is your most important aspect of a lifestyle. A food, your activity, your relationships, that's a healthy lifestyle. Car living, okay, is, you know, again, if you want to live it a certain way where you're thriving, it's figuring out how you can make an income while you live in your car. And if you're going to have an office job or a steady job, where can you park within that area and how are you going to deal with the weather? It's accepting the fact that, you know, you are going to spend a lot more time in public. What is a house? A house is a sanctuary. It's a private sanctuary. Whether you own it or rent it, it's private for the most part. When you live in your car, Planet Fitness is your bathroom. That's public. Starbucks is your living room. That's public. You're in a public parking lot. If someone parks next to you, it's not your house. It's a public shared parking lot. You can't get mad at them. So that burns you out after a while because you have no sanctuary. The benefit is you have limited responsibility. You don't have a lot of anxieties. You don't have a lot of waste. So again, the good part about living in your car is when you have a bad day, you say, well, you know what? I don't have much to take care of, and that's a weight off your shoulders. When times are tough, whether it's financial or anything else, again, you don't have a lot of responsibility. You don't have a lot of obligation. That's a positive of a lifestyle that's very much a minimalistic, light lifestyle. You can go after some things that are a little risky. You can dream a little bit. You can explore. You can live a rich life as far as like seeing things, experiencing things without rushing to get back to your house. It's a little bit, though, of an isolationist lifestyle. Because you're really, not going to invite friends over anymore. You're kind of going to get detached from most people because most people are not going to understand your lifestyle even if they support you. Most people may even think that it's a cute idea. Most people don't think it's a long-term good idea, or they don't understand it. So you have to be ready to be kind of by yourself. And then again, it goes back to if you're already unstable a little bit mentally, I don't think it's good to isolate yourself completely. As I said, when I go in Starbucks or I'm in different areas, I do make it a point, as long as I'm in a decent mood, I try to have, civil conversation, because you have to have some human interaction. You don't want to be totally isolated. Why? Because we're talking about self-care. Any lifestyle, house living, car living, luxury life, simple life, any lifestyle has to be healthy. And healthy is not just one thing. It's not just food. It's a comprehensive way of how you live your day in and day out life. Cameron, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming back, man. So, I miss my videos, whether they're funny, serious, passionate, or laid back. Is an effort for myself, and then try to share with you guys, is that to live your best life is about a well-being, that you're centered, that you have a level of stability mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Again, any of us could be broken at any time. You're going to have bad days where you lose it, where you get upset. Of course, all these things are human. But you want to center your life around some foundational things, mind, body, soul, that keep you grounded and rooted in goodness. Because you can easily get lost in car living because it is a drifter's life. You know, there's that saying that not all those who wander are lost. But let me tell you something. Most people in life are lost. Most people in life are unhappy. The only reason that's masked is because most people go back to their house after work and you don't see the madness. When you decide to live on the road, you know, you are exposed to the public at a higher degree. And so, again, I think you have to be a little bit more self-aware, self-conscious. And not about impressing people. Again, we're talking about to be in a well place. Good to see you, Mel. Good to see you. Forgive me for saying the name wrong. Juwan, I say Goodman. How much does it cost you to live in your car, and would you ever get a van? I don't think I would get a van until I'm older. I had a van when I had electrical contracting business. I had a 40 250 van. I didn't like the way it drove. It drives. It's like it rattles. I feel like I'm going to lay sheetrock, not to like drive by the ocean listening to Sade. So if I ever get a van, it would be probably when I get older. And, you know, then I'd probably go more towards a Class B. Like the Corrado Axion I was looking at was close. So, look, my food is my biggest cost, not gas. Okay. In food, I probably could spend anywhere from $30 to $50 a day, everything. For every drink, for every food, and for a little bit of gas, it's probably $30, $50. Now, that does not include anything extra. My windshield cracking, my phone upgrade, healthcare insurance, if you have a car note, if you want to save $30 or $50 per day for just living, eating, moving my car, gas, basic essentials. So guys, $30 a day for $30 a day for 30 days in a month is $900. $50 a day for 30 days in a month is $1,500. So you're going to spend anywhere for basic essentials from $900 to $1,500 per month. That does not include a car note, does not include car insurance, health insurance, or anything extra. And let me tell you something, living on the road, I've changed all my tires. I've had to have car repair, brake repair. You're going to always have stuff that comes up, always. And you always get to buy stuff once in a while. So like I always tell you guys, $1,000 or less is living in poverty. You want to make over $2,000 a month. You have to make $20 or over a month if you're going to pay for your own health insurance and everything else. And that's why I tell you guys, no matter what lifestyle, car living or house living, having a job or some type of income is key because everything costs money. You know, I go to Starbucks, they don't just look at me and say, oh, you're an inspirational nomad, let me give you a free coffee. I go to the gas station and I don't get free gas. You know, if I have to buy something in Walmart, I have to pay. Get my oil changed, I have to pay. My cell phone bill, I have to pay. My car insurance, I have to pay. So is it less than a house? Yeah, it can be. Now, certainly if you have an RV or van and if you move a lot, it cannot be. And that's when I looked at RVs, when I initially looked at this lifestyle, I said, man, it could be just as much as a house, if not more. And this asset is going down in value, not up. It's a depreciating asset, not appreciating. However, again, it's not a bad thing. You just have to know it. Not a bad thing. Because look, if you're unhappy in a house and you're not happy where you are, then you got to do what you got to do. Doesn't matter even if it costs more. However, just understand the cost. There's a scripture that says count the cost before you start to build. Yet, because if you start and then you don't have enough, you're going to be foolish. So I'm not even against it if you say, look, I want to live in my car or van or I want to buy an RV, but it's actually going to cost me more than renting a room or renting an apartment. You may be right. But if that inspires you more and if it's below your means, then it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But I think that is a misunderstanding misunderstanding or misleading that many people think automatically living in your car, it's going to be automatically cheaper. They have this idea that they're going to go in the middle of the desert and just camp for free. What type of life is that? Maybe for once in a while, but not every day, all day long, for years on end. You know, they have this idea that, you know, it's a life of luxury. It's not. You have to be someone who embraces the outdoors. You know, because you're not going to be walking around your house in your bathrobe watching TV. You know, if you know you're a homebody, and there was a season of my life where I was a homebody, meaning that after work, I spent most of my time in my house. You know, I would order food, I would watch TV. If you know, like, you're in that mode of life, I don't think you are ready for car living, or you'd thrive in it, or van living, or whatever. Why? Because, you know, when I started to get my health together, I started to walk outside. Walking really changed my life, and I started to just embrace the outdoors. Going for bike rides, being outdoors a lot. That was like one of the steps that started to, as I looked into downsizing, what are my options? Everything in life is about putting your options before you and evaluating. Everyone has their own individual circumstance. So everyone, you know, is going to come up with their own answer for them, right? That's, we're all our own person. We all have our own fingerprint. So, you know, you have to evaluate your options. I'm sharing with you some of mine. So, you know, you have to look at your own situation. But I think if you look at it from an honest perspective, and I think if you look at it as a lifestyle, not just cutting cost, you know, car living or being a nomad is a lifestyle. It means you're going to be outdoors more. It means you're going to be moving more. It means you're going to be in the public more. You know, so that's a whole lifestyle. Now, you can save more. What's your goal for saving? Do you want to pay off debt? Do you want to start a business? You know, you should have some goal tied to that, or you just want to live carefree. But nothing in life is carefree. I do say, look, when you have less to take care of, you're going to have less burdens. I testify that's true. But, you know, you're still going to have burdens. You still have to deal with problems in life. And you could get burnt out, you know, like, you know, for some people, there's a lot of value to know that they have somewhere at the end of the day that's just their own. You know, and we could debate, which I do make videos about, do you ever own a house or this, and, you know, it's all true, you know, but you know what I mean. I mean, you have to take what I'm saying in context. So I think for some people, and I would include myself, I'm going on 3 years now. It'll be my 3-year anniversary in about a month or so. 3 years full time living in my car. Sold my house that I have for 15 years. I lived in my car for 1.5 years in New Jersey, about almost 1.5 years now in Florida. And I've traveled up and down, back and forth. I made some videos about it to visit my mom, to go back. And what I can tell you is, do I regret it? No, I don't. Because again, I really took I took my time. I took an inventory. I kind of made like a checklist on what I wanted to do, what I wanted to try to accomplish. There's been times where I won't say I regretted it, but there's been tough times. What's the toughest time living in your car? When you get sick, I would say that's one of the toughest, because then you really feel vulnerable. You know, because when you have your health and you're moving around, you know, it may not always be perfect, but you feel like, you know, I just move. When you're sick, and I'm talking about, you know, really get sick, which I've been a couple times since I've been on the road. And that's the other thing. Look, you're going to be out in the public more. You're going to be exposed to more germs. You're not going to have air conditioning or heating, so your body temperature is going to fluctuate, and your immune system is more vulnerable. If you have some type of health ailment, you know, asthma or some type of like thing that you deal with your health, the biggest thing you have to consider is living in your car or van. What you don't have is you don't have temperature control. What do you have in a house or apartment? Temperature control. You have a thermostat on your wall that you can dial down to the degree on what temperature you want. That matters. You know, and that's why eventually I would probably get a RV or something like that, especially as I get older. I mean, I don't even know this next summer if I'm going to do another summer in Florida or if I go back up north to alleviate the heat. So, I mean, you can live that type of nomadic lifestyle where you can just travel with the weather. But you're never going to hit it always perfect, because you're always going to get caught in a little bit of bad weather. And, you know, if after a while of travel you realize that you like to be, example, in Florida more, Yeah, it's nice to see different things, but do you really want to spend a whole summer in the northern states if you don't like those states? Do you have the ability to do that with your job or whatever else? I mean, again, in the beginning, I didn't. And that's why I froze my ass off in my car. Now, I had a lot of excitement in the beginning because I had a lot of goals. I wanted to reposition my life in Florida. I wanted to try to do a couple things. So in the beginning, and I was younger too, age plays a factor. Like everything in life, like when you go to the doctor's office and they ask, how old are you? What's your weight? Your age and your physical well-being plays a big factor as if you should even think about living in a caravan. And I don't say that to be mean. That's the reality of life. I mean, I preach self-care. I mean, I did a video today just about like keeping healthy. Why? Guys, if you're going to live in your caravan, you almost have to be healthy. You almost have to be. You couldn't like be really like sick and barely move around and live in a caravan. I know you like the idea of not having to pay certain bills, but believe me, you wouldn't do well if you're not well. Your health, I mean, it's got to be in a decent shape. Why? Because you don't have that stable sanctuary of house living. You don't have temperature control. Now you say, well, that's why I'm going to get an RV. Okay. Well, then now you got to make sure where you're going to park that. Or do you want to live in an RV park? Even 1,000 trails past, it's a well worth it thing to look at if you're going to be in areas that have the 1,000 trails campgrounds. But guys, it is what it is. It's an RV park. So for me, coming up, I grew up in the suburbs in New Jersey. I mean, I went to different areas when I was young, but I basically grew up in the suburbs. What I can tell you is I wasn't really exposed to the RV lifestyle. And the RV parks, they're not all bad, they're not all good, but it's a different lifestyle versus versus the suburbs. It's a different lifestyle when you look out of your window and there's another trailer right next to you. Is it better than being in a bad neighborhood? Definitely. I think so. I think if you're in a bad neighborhood and if you could live the RV lifestyle, I think you're better off living an RV than a bad neighborhood. I think that. Yeah, I do. But again, an RV park is what it is, right? I mean, people have their dogs, so you just have to understand, like, that's what it is. So, I think you just look at life and what you want out of life and how you want to live your life. What you're willing to sacrifice. Everything is sacrifice. Now, but if you want to get rid of some stuff, it may not be as big a sacrifice to you as some others. Like I remember when I was thinking about living out of my car, they said, Sam, that's a big sacrifice. And it is, but I didn't really look at it that big because I wanted a lot that this life had to offer. I didn't want much stuff at that point in my life. Whatever I started like 36, 37. So for some people that had a family or that just bought a house and they were living a lifestyle of, having housewarming parties, baby showers, which I lived that life. They looked at me like kind of crazy. Like that's like, why would you want to live primitive? When you live in your caravan, you're living a primitive life. You're a tent camper, basically. Your car is your tent. So I said, Sam, why would you want to go live that primitive life? It's a huge sacrifice. But I didn't look at it like that because for me, I looked at it as a big gain. I really looked at the flexibility, the freedom, the opportunity to reposition my life. Now, at that time, I did have it in my mind that when I got down to Florida, I was going to buy a home base eventually, and I still may. But I'm very cautious to set down roots because I know as soon as I set down roots, I lose a level of flexibility. And if something changes with my job or something like that, I'm still young where, I can't retire and I'd have to, having flexibility right now is kind of still in my favor. As I get older, it gets less in my favor. Why? Because look, as you get older, you're not going to want to move as much. That's the truth. So that's why I tell you guys, don't do anything irresponsible, but, seize the moments of your life where you're young enough, you're healthy enough, and be responsible, maintain some type of income and go after what you want. Nothing lasts forever. Okay, nothing. But life is meant to be lived one day at a time. I think car living, you're not rushing to get back to your house. You can really live if you're conscious, self-aware, and a little bit disciplined. You can really enjoy each day. Because like even today, I mean, obviously now I'm in Florida. I wasn't always, but like today, after work, I went in the ocean. It was hot today, man. It was like 85, but with the humidity, it felt like 95. Hot, man. I know it's snowing up north, but guys, hot as hell down here. So I went to the ocean. It was nice and cool. Saw some bikinis. I like that. Went for a walk in the park, and then there was some I think there were tulips or some type of flower, beautiful flower down here in South Florida. Florida is actually Spanish. The word Florida, I think, is Spanish for the word Floridia or something like that. Land of flowers. That's what Florida stands for. Land of flowers. So I passed by this tulip or some type of flower, and I actually literally stopped and smelled the roses. I stopped and I consciously breathed in that rose, and that was nice. It was, that's the value. I'm giving you ups and downs, but that's the value of living light. I don't have much that I have to rush to. I don't have to worry about rush hour traffic. I'm not in a rush to get home. However, right now, as I make this at 7 p.m. Eastern time, at 11 p.m. Eastern time, I have no home to go home to. That'll mess you up at night. Okay. During the day, it's good to live in your car. At night, it gets a little bit like, man, what am I doing? Not enough words negative for me, but there's something in your mind that's kind of says that you kind of feel like, what's going on here? Because there's a value in at night, midnight or whatever time you go to sleep, you don't have to worry about someone knocking on your door or being in the area. Now, again, if you stay at a campground, a level of that is alleviated because the campground is almost like your home. That's why I recommend 1,000 Trails Pass. That's why I recommend, be a tent camper, but you're not going to want to always do that. And the downside about the campgrounds is there's a lot of insects. Okay. And, now in the cooler weather in the winter, you don't have to deal with as much. But you're living in nature. Car living is a primitive life. House living is a temperature controlled life. Different life, guys. Different lifestyle. I sit here, I'll sweat, just because why? Guys, I got no air conditioning. I'm fucking in Florida. It's hot. But I enjoy it. So I don't want to paint a bad picture of it. I still enjoy it. I do. After a while, like everything in life, like after a while, the original newness of it wears off. And that's why I really think you want to try some type of goal to it. But I look at my options now. I say, Sam, 3 years into this, what are your options? My options are always, your first option is keep doing what you're doing if it's not broken. I don't feel it's broken. I don't feel I'm unhealthy. If I felt I was in an unhealthy, toxic situation, then I gotta take immediate action. But I don't feel that way. I feel I'm pretty stable. I have some downside. My downside is, I have a little bit less comfort than I would like to have a little bit more comfort, a little bit. But I say, what are my options? My options are I could buy a home base. That's option number one. Do I want to buy a home base? I'm still not there mentally. Because I don't want to get entangled in a property. And once I do that, I lose flexibility. If I have some type of issue with my job, I'm always going to be anchored to one area. I don't want the responsibility of ownership. Not yet again. Ownership it has value. Property value can go up and you have a little bit more privacy than renting, but you have a greater responsibility to take care of something. Owning a property is like, in one sense, having a pet or a child. It's responsibility. I don't want to rent an apartment or rent a condo. I really, I don't like ownership. I also don't like having a landlord or someone look over me. I'd rather rent a campground. RV, to get an RV, a travel trailer, or motorhome, that's still on the table. Like I say, I do see a downside with that because, the motorhomes are definitely just as much as a small condo. And I don't like the efficiency, the gas efficiency I would lose. Again, if you were talking to me and I was 60 years old, my answers would be different. So like I say, evaluate your age. How old are you? Okay, I'm 39. I'll be 40 next year. If I was 59 or 69, I would look at RVs totally different. You have to evaluate your own life. So, do I want to lose gas efficiency? Like if I get a motorhome, I'm not going to be door dashing and I'm not going to have two vehicles. I don't want two things. I still want to keep it simple. In the midst of your journey of life, you always want to go back to keep it simple. Okay. And for me, pulling a travel trailer, the Jeep Renegade couldn't pull much. It could pull something, but it wouldn't be a stand-up travel trailer. It'd be like a teardrop. And I don't know if it's worth it to get. I would get air conditioning. That would be a positive. But I wouldn't be able to stand up and I wouldn't have a bathroom, so I wouldn't be self-contained. So I don't know if it's worth the trade-off. And my car does have 140,000 miles on it, so I don't know, if this car, how much longer it lasts. It's still relatively new, 4 years old, but, after this goes, I don't know if I want to get like another tow vehicle. In my mind, I would probably get a hybrid, either a Toyota Prius or a Kia Niro. Why? Because right now I move a lot, so the efficiency of having good gas mileage is a plus. So, that's just, my mindset on how I look at the lifestyles. And I think a big part of this lifestyle, right, is do you want a relationship? I think the car living lifestyle, it's not for if you want a romantic relationship. Your potential suitors of who would date you is going to be a lot more limited. Now, look, if you're a hot girl, look, you can live in a can of soup and a guy would still want to bang you. Okay. So, but most of you guys, especially on YouTube, you're butt ugly, let's be honest. And you need every edge you can get. So if you're looking to get in a relationship, living in your car is going to really narrow your choices. Because, if you're living in a nice house and you're butt ugly, you got shot. Okay. If you're butt ugly and you're living in your car, guys, you're going to be alone the rest of your life. That's the truth. Now, I'm okay with that. Okay. Now, some of you guys have this idea that, you're going to be like this renegade guy and be, seeing these hot girls and just be dating them. And you're going to be like, some of you girls think, you're going to be on like the Hallmark Channel where you finally downsize your life and you're skipping around and guys are like, flirting with you at the store and you're experiencing life you never experienced. You're a free bird. Guys, the reality of the road is you're going to see people with drug problems, mental problems. Most people are going to look at you like you're homeless. You eventually are going to look homeless because you are. You're living a different lifestyle. You're not always going to be shaven. You're not always going to be dressed very nicely. That's the reality of this lifestyle. Now, you can keep up appearances a little bit, but you get to a certain point where, are you going to be ironing your shirts every day? Are you going to be wearing a suit every day? Are you going to be wearing a nice dress every day? No. Guys, you're going to be living the hippie lifestyle, basically, in a modern version. You're going to be wearing no underwear. You're not going to want to take a shower every day, okay? And, it's a different life. And that's what I tell you. So, are you willing and are you the type of person that likes to be alone? Now, a lot of people living on the road, they're introverts and they're psychopaths. So, not only do they like being alone, they cannot mingle with people. So, I could be considered somewhat an introvert, but I have social people skills. So, I'm able to adapt in both worlds. I understand a psychopath on the street. I know how to deal with it. And I understand, the person who's very social in Starbucks. Anything can happen at any time, but I kind of understand the human psyche. Anthropology, the study of human nature, I understand it. Everyone can throw you off a little bit, but, and if you just, here's the key to anything in life. If you just mind your business and you stay positive, you most of the time will be all right. But once in a while, when you're approached with people, you have to learn that you got to either keep your mouth shut and keep moving or not talk too long because you don't want to get caught in there's always the hairs of, the lifestyle. Okay. Nothing to fear, but it's a different life. It's a different life coming home and walking your dog in the same community and talking to your neighbor who you talk to every day and talking about your job versus, walking in a public park and, meeting strangers every day and then seeing you, people see you every day and, eventually people kind of, so you just have to be conscious. You just have to be conscious. That's all. But guys, that's pretty much a summary tonight. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on 3 years of a full-time in my car, a man who has experienced 15 years I lived in a house. I've lived in the coldest of climates in negative degree. I think it got down to -10 one day in New Jersey. I was living in my car. And it's got over 100 degrees. I lived in my car in Florida. No heating, no air conditioning. I got sick at times. I'm young. I'm relatively in shape. I was able to deal with it. But there's been some sacrifice. There's been some reward. And there's been some severing of relationships because of this lifestyle. I share with you guys my father and other people who, you're going to rock some people's world if you really decide to live this lifestyle. Again, if you're getting ready to retire and you're going to buy an RV and you're going to do a part-time, or even if you're going to retire and you're going to buy a nice RV and you're going to travel around, people won't look at you a certain way. But look, if you're middle-aged, if you're getting ready to live in your car And, it's shocking. It's a shock. And I can understand it. If I look at myself 20 years ago and I ask, I would be shocked. So, you just got to understand that's what it is. All right, guys, I'll take a hydration break. I appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe if you're not camera on. Thank you again, brother, for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Take a hydration break. It's hot today, man. Very hot in Florida tonight. Go to the top. Mark, good to see you, brother. Journey with Jordan, what's up, man? How's Tennessee, brother? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Chosen by God. What's up, Sam? What's up? Snow Panther, yeah, he saw a Jeep Renegade. Didn't realize how small it is. It's pretty small, man. Our Toyota Prius, I don't know if it'd be an upgrade or a downgrade as far as size, man. The only thing like the Jeep Renegade has is it's boxy. So, I can't stand up, obviously, but, like if I sit up in the middle of the night, like I could sit up. So that boxy shape helps you a little bit. Almost, it's very similar to a Honda Element. Very similar. No, I'm not going to be like the Honda Element guy where I cook and I got a drone and I'm dating some chick in San Francisco. I'm not that guy. Guys, I'm not that guy. But God bless him. I'm not mad at him. Chronic. Yeah, did I buy my car used or new? Yes, I bought my car new. Jordan. I usually notice the crazy Florida colored Jeep Renegades. I like those different colors. Like the neon green, yeah. Guys, I've always liked neon colors. Like the colors of Florida, the Miami Heat, the flamingo pink, tropical colors. Like I often say, like Starburst, I want the tropical Starburst. I like tropical colors. I like the tropics. I don't like Dookie Brown. I don't like Dookie Brown, New Jersey. I don't like autumn yellow. I don't like dead broke Kentucky blue colors. I don't like, now Tennessee's got a nice orange with the orange, but, look, Tennessee, let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. Marcy, good to see you, Sam. Thanks for your insight. Well, thank you for the positive comment. Chosen by God. Sam, every time I start to feel stressed, I take a hydration break. Well, that's wisdom. Drink more water, guys. Water, not iced tea, water. Break, I tell myself, good job. Good positive affirmations are good. Okay. And that's why I got a little upset about when I heard about the 12-step program, where the first step is basically say you're powerless. That's a negative affirmation. Again, you could say, I fall, I make mistakes, God help me, that's fine. But saying that you're powerless is a negative affirmation. It's basically saying, you're worthless and you can't do anything. I don't agree with that. I agree. I do agree that we're all human, that we're all going to fail, that we're imperfect. So I'm okay with saying I'm weak, I need help, and I'm willing to help myself and try to get help. I like that better. That's positive affirmation. Positive affirmations is positive mental health. Negative affirmation is negative mental health. So for me, you want to go in the right direction. You want to pedal, paddle. Down here in Florida, there was people in the ocean today paddling, doing the paddle board, man. Up in New Jersey, they had snow plowers out, man. So when you're on your paddle board in South Florida, you want to paddle in a positive direction. You don't want to go in a negative direction. So that's why you want to do positive affirmations. Good job. And then I begin to feel better. Hey, guys, positive affirmation, it may not always help you, but it ain't going to hurt you. Big Easy, good evening. Peace, prayers to all. That's positive. Thank you. Really enjoy your channel. Well, I appreciate that positive comment, man. Sunglass face emoji and palm tree emoji back to you. Coach Lewis Experiments. Yo, what's up, man? Chronic Blast. The news car is dope. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Love to you, brother. Appreciate you. Keep pushing forward in whatever you can do. And he says, yes, you are correct. There's pros and cons to everything. And it ain't going to stop you. I'm not mad at you, brother. I got love for you. Seth, really comment. And he showed me some love. I'll commend your perseverance. Thank you. Look, guys, thank you. Perseverance, persistence is part of anything in life. Persistence beats resistance, because everything in life, you're going to get resistance. When you go into the gym, all you're doing is pushing against resistance. Weights are resistance. That's why I tell you, a lot of people are idle. You almost have to have some resistance, but because that's how you build yourself. But you have to be persistent. And there's a lot to be said for that. That's true. Thank you, Seth. We had light snow today. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I heard, man, it was a disaster. Elizabeth, hello. Thumbs up to you as well. Thank you. Seth, did you work off the baby? Yeah, we talked about that. No, but in my mind, I did. I still got to lose about 10 pounds, maybe 15. Chronic Blast. A lot of premature weather, especially up north. I know, brother. I've been there. Yeah, it's a disaster. Seth, Believe me, I had more than a bagel today. That's all right. I've been there too. So good job. Well, I appreciate that. Forgive me. I got to say Goodman because I don't want to say your first name wrong. Oh, yeah, I talked about that. Yeah, I give a breakdown. Good question, though. Chronic Blast. Goodman, not much at all. Well, no, I disagree with you. I don't want to be hurtful, disrespectful. I disagree. I don't think you've evaluated. So if you're not making $2,000 a month, which is basically like making $10 an hour. $10 an hour, if you work a full-time job, that's $1,600 a month pre-tax. So if you're not even making $10 an hour, and if you're making $1,000 a month, I think you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck on the road. I do. Now, some people want to live like that, and I'm not mad at them, but I'm being honest with you. I think if you don't calculate the cost, car repairs, emergencies, and you have to save, you have to have some savings, and you have to have some retirement. Believe me, I see people out on the road. They don't want to be 70 years old living in their car. They have no choice. Okay. So, and if you wait till you're in your 50s or late 40s to start working, you're going to get screwed. So guys, if you're not clearing after taxes at least $2,000 a month, no matter what type of living situation, you're always going to be living paycheck to paycheck, if not worse, the rest of your life. I've lived that life. I don't want to live it, but to each their own. And then he goes, a moving sanctuary, just custom window covers will be fine. Well, that's coming from someone who hasn't lived in their car. Now, I'll tell you, as someone who has lived in their car, even when you have window covers, when you're at a truck stop or when you're at a campground and bugs are coming in, or whether you're at an all-night gas station or whatever, it's not a sanctuary. It's a car with other diesel pickups running next to you, with other animals around you, or with other psychopaths at the gas station around you. You just can't see them because you got window covers on. That's the reality of life. You're a homeless person living in a car. You're not in this great sanctuary. There's moments of greatness, but it is what it is, guys. So I'm telling you from experience. Now, if you live in your car and you have a different experience, share. But if you just have the idea of what it is and you haven't lived the reality, I could tell you that's not the reality. It can be peaceful. I sleep very peaceful. I enjoy it, especially in moderate climate. And I think it can, I don't want to devalue your comment. It can feel like a sanctuary, but you're never fully, at least me, I'm never fully at rest because you have to be on guard a little bit. Because, at any time I did a video, you could have the cops knock at your door, or if you're at a campground, you may have bugs coming in, or if you're somewhere. So there are moments where, look, you're in a great position. You're safe, you're legal, and you got no bugs. It's great. It's moderate temperature. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Fall and the spring, those are the most moderate temperatures. Those are the best times. But as long as you're parked right and you're okay. But outside of that, it is what it is. It's just a place to sleep, and hopefully you get at least 6 hours of sleep. Cameron, thank you again, Cameron. I appreciate you, man. You're consistent, and I appreciate your support, brother, and I thank you. Love to you, Cameron. Goodman, how much does it cost you in your car? I think I answered that. And would you ever get a van? I answered that. Thank you for the question. Mel, hello, Sam and everyone. Hey, Mel, shout out to Australia. Formerly from Brazil. Love to you, beautiful. Keep pushing forward. How hot was it today in Australia? I wonder if it was hotter in Australia than Florida. Cameron, I saw a video on someone living in their car for $1 a day. Hey, guys, look, you can live homeless for nothing a day, and you could be destitute, and you can have a mental problem, drug problem. Guys, you want to live in poverty? It's easy. Just do nothing. So you can be malnutritioned, you can have poor mental health, you can be lazy, and you can basically just be a beggar on the street. I see people like that. I don't have to dream about it. I see it. I didn't see a video about someone living off $1 a day. I saw it today. And what I can tell you is I don't want to live that life. I see it. So if some people do, God bless. I never do. Now, if I have no other choice, I'm destitute, guys. But if I have a choice, I don't want to live on $1 a day. I want to earn an income. I want to save. I don't want to have to be dependent on other people, and I don't want to be destitute. Now, everyone should do whatever they want, though, but I see it, so I don't need to see a video on it. It's not good, in my opinion. I love to. $8,000 per month, rent, house, and the insurance, and car insurance, power bill, water bill, power bill. Lila, you know what it is. Good to see you, Lila. I hope you did a good job with the hanging lights. I see a lot of Christmas lights going up. Love to you. Love to you too, Cameron. I love you, man. Seth, it's amazing how you broke that cycle. Look, it is. The grace of God, I always want to say that first, because you can't take full credit for everything. At least that's how I look at life. But look, guys, like I said, both my siblings, they're on government assistance. They don't work. That's the reality. Family members who died of obesity. My father always had issues. Now, but I will say, look, my father taught me a trade. I had a loving mother my entire life. So in many ways, I was privileged. I had a loving mother. I had somewhat of a supportive father. I was brought up in the suburbs. I mean, I had a lot of benefit. But my sisters and other people I know were brought up in the same suburbs, went to the same public schools, and they didn't break cycles. So I don't understand the mysteries of life. But I don't really try. I stopped trying to do that. What I try to figure out is my own life and how can I make my life better? How do I break a cycle of obesity? How do I break a cycle of unhealthy relationships? And it all starts with separating yourself from that which is unhealthy for you and then working on yourself. And that'll keep you busy enough to get positive momentum. But when you try to avoid the work of your life and you try to get rich quick scheme and you don't want to work, when you try like some fad diet, when you try anything that doesn't encompass a lifestyle, when you're just trying a quick fix, you're going to suffer. And so I broke the cycles mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. I broke the cycles through looking at things through a comprehensive entire lifestyle change, not just quick fixes. So that's what I would say. Seth, we are creatures of habit. Very true. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to be aware of it. Yep, that's true. Cameron, how do you have so much willpower to live outside the norm? Again, good question, Cameron. And that's where I acknowledge the grace of God. There's some things I'll take credit for because I do put in the work of my life. I don't just sit idle. I do the work. But as I analyze life and human nature, I think some people are born with a certain level of talent, right? Like Michael Jordan, he put in the work, but he was also born with a certain level of talent. So he can't take all the credit. So I put in the work to live my best life, but at the same time, I humbly admit that part of it is the grace of God. To have a certain mentality and willpower. Now I work on it, and I'm not perfect, but that's where I do look at the dynamic of everyone has a different gift. But again, I know some people, like, they don't have a lot of willpower, but they're great mechanically. So, like, don't focus on what you suck at, focus on what you're good at, and then build it up. So we all have different gifts. If you have a wide ass, don't wear yoga pants, okay? Wear a tank top, okay, because you got big breasts. Okay? If you got small breasts and you got a nice ass, wear yoga pants and wear a long sleeve top. You want to accent that which is positive and then work on that. The first step to a healthy lifestyle is eliminating the unhealthy. And you will experience that all throughout life. And it doesn't faze me. Why? Because I understand it's part of life. And I am okay with pushing past resistance. Okay. I will never let a toxic person infect me with their insecurity, with their anger. Why? Because look, I understand human psychology. No one who is happy with their life wants to come in and bash someone else's life. No good-looking person compliments or criticizes someone else's looks. When you are at peace with yourself, you don't try to destroy something else. When you hate yourself, you hate everyone else. So I understand human psychology of the troll. And it doesn't faze me. And you'll never eliminate it. It's just part of life in this world. I've accepted it. I don't deal with it. I'll block it. But I understand you can never block it completely. It'll always be part of life. So what I tell you is there's still more decent, positive people if you focus on them. And don't let the small percentage of negativity affect you. Because guys, there's all throughout life, and peer pressure starts when you're very young. The reason you will drink alcohol, the reason you smoke cigarettes, and the reason I did was because of peer pressure. No one likes how alcohol tastes the first sip. No one likes how cigarettes taste the first pull. Why do you keep doing it? Because you want to impress others. And look, it's not about blaming them. It's just about when you're young and when you're immature mentally, your mindset is, I want to make other people like me. When you're older, you're not trying to make other people hate you. But look, if they like me, it's a plus. If they don't, I don't give a shit. Why? Not because you want to hurt people, but because you got to go forward. And so some people are still stuck in that troll, immature mindset where they're trying to peer pressure you in to being who they want you to be. You know, Muhammad Ali had a quote when they wanted him to endorse the military and the Vietnam War. And they wanted him to be a certain type of athlete where he said all the politically correct things. He said, look, I don't have to be who you want me to be. And I think that's wisdom. You don't have to be what someone else wants you to be. Because what someone else wants you to be is just miserable. Because there's no happy person that doesn't want, every positive person in my life, you know what they've always told me, even if they didn't understand me? They go, Sam, if you're happy, I'm happy. Whatever makes you happy. And if you're healthy and if you're doing a responsible thing. Every nasty, controlling, manipulative, mentally ill person I've met, you know what they do? They throw shade. They put a sarcastic comment. They attack. It's the psychology of life. Okay. I understand the mentally ill, the toxic, and the nasty. They're spiteful. They're vicious. They're destroyers. I understand the positive people, and I understand the indifferent people. I understand as a leader, you're going to face all those people. The only person that matters is the person that looks back at you in the mirror, because that's who you have to live with the rest of your life. The trolls will be buried. The negative family members will die off. Who lives with you the rest of your life? The person in the mirror. So you better get comfortable and be at peace with that person, because that's the only thing that matters. And most people aren't. Most people are, it's a shock to look in the mirror. I mean, to really look at the mirror. And if they do look at the mirror, they focus on their flaws. They focus on their wide ass. Their one tit's bigger than the other. Their penis is too small. Their nose is too big. And I understand it. I've been down that road in my life. Thank you, Tennis Unlocked. Thank you for the show of appreciation, brother. Thank you, Tennis. Love to you, brother. Keep after whatever inspires you. Tennis, arts, music. I saw a troll today online. He was caught in a vicious cycle of back and forth with another person. But the one thing that I saw that he was doing was healthy. He was still doing his creative gift. So guys, you can't win with toxic people. Don't play their game. Play your instrument of life. You know, Albert Einstein had a quote. He goes, if you take a fish and you put it out of water, it struggles for life. It looks stupid. If you put a fish in water, it looks like a genius, because the way it swims and moves, it's in its right environment. So, you know, put yourself in the right environment. Do what you love. There's some things in life you have to do that you don't love. But through it all, every lifestyle, no matter what lifestyle you choose, has to be centered in healthy choices with your food, with your friends. Not perfect, because look, we're always going to be a little bit overweight or a little bit underweight or a little bit this, a little bit that. I understand. I am that. But it's centered in a mindset of health and well-being. Self-care, priority number one. Put your oxygen mask on yourself before you try to help other people. Don't try to start a charity if you still need charity. You know? So, you know, I understand the mind of the empathetic person. They want to help others. I was once very much like that. I still kind of am. But I also understand the mind of you have to take care of yourself to a level first. You know, or else you're not going to be able to help anyone else. True. All right, guys. We'll take another hydration break. Thank you, Tennis. Thank you, Cameron. Love to you. Thank you for everyone who's positive on the comments. Appreciate you. Kristen, hey, beautiful. Hey, Sam, hello, everyone. Kristen, I had a nasty dream about you the other day. Not nasty as far as bad, nasty good. But I was thinking about you, but in a romantic way. But don't worry, I love you. Tony, hey, Kristen. Yeah, Kristen's hot. Seth, 3 years, skill for survival. It's true. Look, you know, and I think part of it is you want to find out not just how to survive, but how to thrive, how to live, you know, a rich life. And when I say rich, not Scrooge McDuck necessarily, but I'm not mad at that, but a rich as far as like a fulfilled, happy, positive life. That's a rich life, man. It is. Kristen says, hey, Tony, don't you go cheating on me. Dennis, what's up, brother? What's valuable is recognizing that every situation demands an expense. That's true. I've been able to square away my debt. Good job. You're very smart. and save money towards a year's worth of expenses. Amen. That's a great goal, and that's what everyone should have as a goal. Good job. Still, I'm only part-time. Okay, well, that's you made it work. It works for me. Dennis, love and respect, man. Great job. You've put in the work of your life, man, and that's a great job. Congratulations, man. Tony, how do folks here treat or pamper themselves over the holidays? That's interesting. I go RMT. What does that mean? Oh, massages? But I'm not mad at that. But I'm looking for some self-care tips for the holidays. Well, that's a good question. I'll let other people answer that because you guys know what I do, man. I go to the beach in Florida. I look at bikinis and I masturbate twice in a sock. That's true. That's a good question, though. Lala, I have been shocked. I got shocked by Christmas lights 4 times. Be careful. And those Christmas lights for 8 volts to 120. Be careful. And friend bones, I got shocked 220. Damn, I'm lucky you lived on that 220. It was dangerous, yeah. Will kill car battery volt, only 12 volt. Yeah, that's true. Lila, be careful. Wear electrical gloves when you're doing that work. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't like toxicity, so I just want to make sure I'm good. Tony, some guy's a YouTuber who travels around on a motorcycle sleeping in a tent. There's different strokes for different folks. For me, I'd rather just have a car because a tent is just another hassle. You have a tent on standby in case you need to. There's some campgrounds that you have to put a tent up to be compliant with their rules and regulations. But I just don't like the hassle of them. But yeah, that's true. Some people do that. Seth, how about rent a studio month to month? Some people do that. There was a guy that used to watch my channel in Long Island, and he basically crunched the numbers. He tried living in his car, he didn't like it, and he basically said, Sam, for the same thing or even less, I can rent a room in Long Island and it's better for me. And he broke down the numbers and it made sense. I said, yeah. I said, so if you want to live in Long Island, and I think he had a kid there, so he had to, and it worked for him. Yeah, and many times it's cheaper and more stable and more convenient and more comfortable, because if you rent a room, it's going to be better. Now you got to deal with roommates, and there's some negatives there. But if you can find the right situation, yeah, it could be just as cheap, if not cheaper. Tony, or even a studio. Yeah, it all depends. That's true. Tony, that's what I do, Seth. Yeah, that could work. Tony, works great for me. Yep, good comment, Tony. Thank you for sharing. Seth, good job, Tony. Kristen, infatuated with tiny homes. Well, Kristen, this is what I tell you. This is like house fever. At one time, I had house fever. I wanted to buy every house in America. At another time, I had Latino MILF fever. I wanted to bang every Latino MILF. Now, that's still true. However, what you learn is that fever burns off, and you're better to keep your commitments light, okay? Don't marry a MILF, and don't buy a tiny home. Why? Because a tiny home is usually going to be in the middle of nowhere because most of them have restricted land. You can't, most towns or municipalities that are decently populated, you have to build at least 1,000 square foot. And a tiny home is going to be under 500 square foot for most. And so if you're going to live in the middle of nowhere, you better be financially independent because to get a job and to commute back and forth, unless you're retired, is not going to be good. And then you're locked into that location. And then when you go to sell a tiny house, the pool of buyers is smaller because the vast majority of people that buy a house are young families or families that want to be by infrastructure, hospitals, schools, etc. Very few families want to buy a tiny house in the middle of nowhere. Therefore, the only people that want to buy your house back from you would be other single drifters or just two people that want to live in the middle of nowhere. Are there people out there like that? Yes, but less. So your pool of buyers are smaller, so your asset is not that much of an asset, especially in a downturn. Therefore, you lose a lot of flexibility and a lot of the value of what a property would be worth. And that's why it's cheaper. Everything's cheaper for a reason. So you just have to recognize that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying it's a reality that you have to face and you have to understand. Lila, lifestyle going camping, have fun, ride four-wheelers, good job. RV park, found campfire, stay couple days, I like Nintendo. Okay. You have a house or for a couple days. Oh yeah, the campsite. Yeah, the campsite is almost like having a house. That's true. It's like a home base. Seth Laslin, good job. Jaybird, I get out a lot of guff from men during the day when I'm parked. I can only imagine what would happen at night when the psychopaths are out. That's true. The freaks come out at night. I got some psychopaths that follow my YouTube channel. They don't even log on till like 9 o'clock in the morning. And then they start to thumbs down out the wazoo. So they're sleeping in their house till at least then. So what I can tell you is, guys, the freaks come out at night. It's just what it is. It's true. Campgrounds are the way for me. Campgrounds are a big, stable resource living on the road. And even if you don't do it every day, have it as a main resource in your pocket so that you have a level of privacy, safety, and protection. Tony, according to Sam, all of us watching this are butt ugly. Well, I would say if I had to put a percentage, 95 to 98% of you guys are butt ugly, okay? And the 2% that may have a decent profile picture, it's very filtered and it's from 10 years ago. So I want to say 99.9% of you guys are butt ugly. So that's the reality of YouTube. Let's be honest. Kristen, I currently live in a can of soup. Well, I'm not, I want to bang. All right, guys. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's take out the break. Mel, Sam, I'm grateful you helped me to accept it is okay to be on my own. Well, Mel, I love you. You're a positive woman, a beautiful woman based on your avatar. Let's be honest. So, but what I can tell you is, Mel and everyone, you can live a lot of your life on your own. However, you should have a couple positive connections, and you should still socialize to a level of human health, because a level of human health needs social, to socialize. Like a lot of the psychopaths, they want to know why I blocked them, because they were toxic. And that's why everyone else blocked them in their life. And so they can't let go of the fact that now they're going to have no social interaction. So, because even though they isolate them, they know they need it, okay? So I want to encourage you guys that a big part of your life you have to walk alone, but I also want to encourage you that there's going to be times where you do meet positive people, foster healthy relationships as long as they accept you and you accept them, and it's healthy, then value a level of human interaction. That's true. Seth, I just had a can of soup. Well, guys, welcome to High Sodium and Butt Ugly People on YouTube. Dennis, Sam, how is your battery purchased been working out for you? Oh, my Goal Zero, thumbs up. Goal Zero Yeti 150, one of the best purchases I made. I would highly recommend it. If you're going to buy it, use my Amazon link. I appreciate that. I would highly recommend it. Medicare insurance, health insurance, doctors, and checkups. Number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical bills. So you got to have some type of medical insurance. That's true. Mel, Tony, I disagree with you. I don't think he said we are all ugly. 99.9%. Okay, so like I said, I'm putting 1% out there. I just got to be honest. Tony, laughing. Mel, my plan is to buy a van for my son and I. Well, Mel, I love you and I support you whenever you want to do. In my opinion, I would buy 2 vans, one for you and one for your son, if your son is close to 18. Why? Because people need their own personal space. And if I lived in a van with my mother, now if my mother had no choice and she was loving, it wouldn't matter. But if I was a teenager and I lived in a van with my mother, we'd want to kill each other. And I love my mother. So I don't know your son's age. If he's under 10 years old, thumbs up. Oh, he's 7? So that makes sense. So I could understand. I think that'd be fine, in my opinion. So the only thing you have to plan for, Mel, is after the age of 7, I want to say around 11 or 12. So you should have about a 3 to 5 year exit strategy. Because when your son starts to hit puberty, around 10 to 12, he's not going to be around mommy, just like you weren't. Guys, when you hit puberty, that's when you start to hate your parents. Not because you don't love your parents, it's because you are becoming your own person. And, how is he going to hang out with his friends in your van? So just prepare that in 3 to 5 years, your life is going to change dramatically. And you have to be prepared that, your son needs that space. So as long as you accept that and you have a plan that works for you, thumbs up. Cameron, what's the most fun thing you did in Florida? Swim in the crystal clear South Florida ocean. Look at hot girls in bikini and walk under a palm tree. that whole lifestyle, that just what I explained, that's the best thing I've done so far. That's true. Night Fangs. He goes, I'm positive it's 25 degrees here in Massachusetts tonight, Burr. Well, brother, I understand. I feel you. I've been there. So all I can tell you, brother, is keep warm. Keep a vision of a better life. If you want a different life, keep it in front of you. Like if you're cold in Massachusetts right now or New Jersey, keep a vision of palm trees in your mind. Go watch YouTube videos of Florida. Why? Because, when you're in a bad, but if you're, when you're in a bad situation, you have to keep the hope alive. Okay. However, if you're already positive, that's a good thing because that shows that you have a healthy mindset, that you're not letting, the temporary cold weather destroy your hopes. So congratulations and thank you for being positive. Lala. In future living on your own, pay insurance on house living. Expense and power bill, $5,000 per month on house insurance. Oh, that's high. Journey. Tennessee is cold, 35 degrees Fahrenheit out right now. I had another interview that went well, good job, for a large tech support company. Good job. So Journey with Jordan, you've been by two good industries. You've applied for a job at a dentist office, which is the healthcare industry, and a technology company, which obviously technology industry. So healthcare and technology industries are still the good industries to go into. So what I can tell you is, as long as you can, even if you get your foot in the door at an entry-level position, those are all good industries. So good job. Frank says, praise Jesus. God bless you. Well, God bless. I appreciate the positive love. Thank you, Frank. Mel, in Melbourne. Now, there is a Melbourne, Florida, but you're talking about Melbourne, Australia. The weather today is cloudy, 16 degrees Celsius. Australia is good. Well, give me the conversion because I'm not good. In America, we use Fahrenheit. So what's 16 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit terms? Someone Google that. Juliana. Hey, Sam. Hey, Juliana. Thank you for your positive comments, man. I really like them. I enjoyed them. You understand what it is. People are who they are, and they show you that. You nailed it. Mel laughing. I have nothing to accent, Sam. Poor me, laughing. No wonder why I'm single. No, that's a negative affirmation. Mel, I want to correct you. I want you to have a positive affirmation of yourself. You're single because, there's nothing wrong with being single. It doesn't mean you're a bad-looking person or you have a bad thing. Now, again, chances are if you're on YouTube, you're butt ugly. However, don't put a negative affirmation over yourself. So just say, I enjoy being single and that, one day, if it's your desire, you'll meet another positive person that you'll live a great life. So positive. So, again, don't lie to yourself. Don't say like, I'm Beyonce, I can have any man I want. But at the same time, look, even Beyonce got cheated on. So a lot of people would love to be Halle Berry, but Halle Berry been divorced. A lot of people would love to be Jennifer Lopez, but she got divorced 3 times. So guys, a lot of people that are physically beautiful, they've been through the most devastating divorces you ever seen in your life. Therefore, thank God that you have a wide ass and you're single because you didn't go through divorce. So thumbs up to you. And what I can tell you guys is what you think God cursed you with, he really spared your life. So we used to have a viewer in here said, Sam, the Lord spared you from children. And now I say, praise the Lord. Like my man Frank said, praise the Lord. I think live and let live was right. All right, let's stay positive. No. But I am working on it. Well, just stay healthy because you don't want a man. Actually, you're probably better off being single. I have my personal trainer helping me. Well, guys, the gym is a strip club. I can't tell you how many people destroy their life getting in relationships at the gym. When you go to the gym, go there to be healthy. Don't flirt with your personal trainer because what I'm going to tell you is there ain't enough room in that van for you, your son, and your personal trainer. And it's going to end in a disaster. So what I can tell you is work out by yourself because personal trainers, they end up trying to have sex with you. Cameron, ignore the troll, Sam. I will. I feel bad for them, but look, it is what it is. Jaybird, thank you, Cameron. Jaybird, Journey with Jordan. Good job. Way to go, man. Seth, you kicked the nicotine addiction. That was very hard. Yeah, grace of God, a lot of falling and getting back up. Good job. Thank you. That was tough. Thank you, Seth. Journey with Jordan. Thanks for the positivity, Jaybird. I like that. Tennessee. Thank you, brother. Hey, Sam. Keep up the good work and holidays. Thank you. Appreciate that very much, Dennis and Cameron. Tennis and Cameron, thank you. Mel, thank you for the great advice. I am taking care of myself because of your beautiful advice. Well, you're doing it because it was always inside you. I may have inspired you, but it was always inside you. So just like some people, they come back on my channel and they're spiteful. The reason they're spiteful is not because I blocked them, it's because it was always inside them. They were just waiting for something to happen so they can activate all their fake profiles. Because that negativity, that anger, that bitterness has always been in them. They refuse to do the work of their life and get rid of that bitter root. And that's why it's only going to take one thing to set off the psychopath. However, the positive people that are trying to keep a positive outlook and a good sense of humor, whether they're living in 25-degree weather, whether they got a flat ass and are overweight, the positive people are just looking for a spark of confidence. Okay? That's the difference between the positive and the negative. The negative people are looking for one thing to set them off. The positive people are looking for one bit of confidence to push them forward to their best life. And that's why I fuck with the positive and I cut off the negative. Never forget it. Good job. Journey with Jordan, 99.7 but ugly. Well, that number keeps going up. Eric, damn, Sam on fire. You know it. Mel, my son is 7 years. We broke that down. Thank you for sharing. Mel, the van is not pay rent and save for deposit to buy a house. Well, you got a plan. Stick with it and just keep pushing forward. Best of luck to you, Mel. Kristen, thanks for the input. And the last time, I love you. Have a good night, everyone. I love you. Good luck with the job journey. Amen. Way to stay positive, Kristen. Thank you for coming in. Eric, I don't know, there's a guy dancing and the dog in Indianapolis freezing. Well, Eric, you got positive emojis. So at least you're staying positive, brother. Stay warm. Journey with Jordan. Thanks, Sam and Kristen. Mel, 60. Oh, that's 62 degrees Fahrenheit. That's moderate temperature. That's good. Iris is laughing. Good. Love to you, Iris. Julianne, would you call yourself a minimalist Sam and remain living light when you eventually have a home base again? Yes. Good question, Juliana. I believe that for the rest of my life, I will always be at some level a minimalist compared to the rest of society. I believe in my life, even though I may be overweight at times and eat a little bit more, I'll never go back to eating out every day. So I've changed the way I look at life, an entire lifestyle that even if I add or subtract some things here and there and fluctuate a little bit, like your weight will always fluctuate, your lifestyle choices fluctuate. I've kind of balanced it out. Balance is a key part of life. I've balanced it to where my level of balance is definitely at the minimalistic level as far as materialism, so I can live a more independent life. I like minimalism because it's independence. Like some of the trolls come in here and they're like, well, I block people that have super chat me. Why? Because I'm not controlled by the dollar bill. I appreciate the tip. Look, I do YouTube as a side hustle, but I'm not controlled by it. I have other jobs. Why? Because I don't want to be controlled. So I look at minimalism, and part of that cutting my expenses is it gives me independence. I don't have to, always worry about always getting laid off or not making enough. I mean, you always have to have a job and an income, but you know what I mean? I have more choices, and that's more independence, and that's thumbs up. Milano, what's up, brother? Milano, I'm sorry to hear about that cat in your park that passed away. So love to you, brother. You're a positive man. I know you went through the death of your dog and that cat, but I love you, Milano. I love Emilio, and I want all the best for both of you. So stay positive, guys. Thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up. Thank you, Tennis Unlocked, and thank you, Cameron, for the super chats. Guys, stay positive and keep pushing forward. Mel, I love you. No, your comment didn't sound, well, it sounded negative, but it didn't sound like you were trying to be negative. I was just trying to encourage you. To don't be sarcastic towards yourself, because sarcasm is the seed of disrespect. So you don't want to disrespect yourself. You want to respect yourself. So you don't want to say that you got a shitty body. Now you want to say that, look, I say that I got a wide ass, but I still say I could pull any chick. Why? Because I got a good personality. You know what I mean? So accent the positive. So you got a flat ass, but you know what I mean? You could give a good blowjob. So, you got to accent the positive. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Lala, thank you. Lala gave a lot of good emojis. Good job, Lala. Thank you for your love. All right, guys. Peace, love, and stay positive. Uh-oh.